Hello, Aries. I don't know how I skipped you. I was just like saying, that's going really well. How come? And then I said, oh my goodness, I somehow skipped you over. So that's going to be a significant part of the reading. I want to see where is that going to exhibit itself. So let's do it. So Aries, these are the messages for kind of like more or less how to wrap things up this year in order to kind of like have the springboard and launch in 2020 and in the new decade, which is kind of like very important, right? We are entering this like universal year number 4, which is going to take lots of hard work. And if you're not prepared, if you come to school without pencils and rulers and books, you're not going to get ready. So this divination is called Lenormand. It is completely different from tarot. I usually combine it for my clients, because it does give in combination really good result. Also on its own, it's really powerful. What I'm going to do is called Grand Tableau. And I'm actually delivering you messages. One of the messages was you need to do Lenormand, which I really didn't feel like because I'm busy with doing annuals. Oh, by the way, annuals are still on pre-order, guys. I'm still doing them during all this like messages. So if you want to know more about messages, go on the community part of my channel or my website. My newsletter is free. And whenever I get, let's say, a message or a vision, I share it with you. And another thing is, like, if you guys want this reading, of course, you know how to find me. I'm still not declaring it a separate reading. I noticed the readers are charging like $500 for this. It is really draining. Most people don't know how draining this really is, but I'm not going to charge, not even in the area, because I know that you need your information, but I also know that you're just people like me. We need to watch our budgets, right? So Aries, there's like one figure showing up over here, and look, the heart and the ring are above you. So if you are a guy, you have the marriage on your mind, kind of like moving in some kind of direction. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It could be somebody from your past. It could be somebody with whom, let's say, you had things that you really needed to accomplish. Let me see. I'm kind of like getting all giddy over here and jittery. It's really interesting. Is there somebody that you dated who maybe is long distance, kind of like squeeze kind of a thing? Lots of like whispering over the phone and sex talk, and you feel kind of like intriguingly dirty, but also you feel very connected, because that's not very usual for Aries. It's not the same. You're not the race. But it's rather kind of like needing for you to kind of like comprehend the person physically. You're like first sign, you're like number 1. So remember how I said skipped over? Maybe you have skipped over kind of like really that initial way of having a relationship, which for you it's very physical. Or maybe you did exactly that, but somehow there was like some kind of delay introduced. You see how things that are happening are always part of a reading, because you just cannot take the cards. Cards to me are just like, flashcards that I really can help my messages. If you guys want to see how I see messages today on Pisces video, when I start recording, the 2 basically bubbles showed up, and they were kind of like having those images in the middle, and that's basically how I see it. I have to make sense out of it. So guys, either you have somebody who is from, I don't know, maybe on the arm's length kind of a thing. Maybe somebody was really busy with their own stuff. Maybe they have been dealing with paperwork, with immigration things, that sort of things. Or maybe somebody like that will just show up. I really have to tell you that, especially if you're men, you almost like are making some kind of dedication toward, okay, I really want to get married. I really want to go in this new direction. I mean, it's really interesting that you have lilies over here, and they're like in the basically house of crossroads, right? It is really showing up over here, and this is like in the house of stork, and you have that stork right above you. So it is connecting, right? So stork is really talking about, I don't know, renovation, moving, promotion, yes, and pregnancy. It will go like, I mean, I love you, would you marry me, and hey, let's get pregnant. And maybe somebody got pregnant through all of these advances, especially if you're a guy, you know, sex is on your mind. And if you guys don't want pregnancy, there is like a very cheap investment you need to make in order to prevent 20 to 40 years of, you know, monetary support. So the lilies is, to me, really intriguing card. Either there is like somebody appearing who might be, I don't know, bold, or salt and pepper, or kind of white hair, gray haired, whichever way you want to address it. But the lilies can also talk about sex. They're like these two cards that are really talking about sexuality, right? And this is really talking about the snow, so hence that white hair. But it could also talk about doctors, for example, people who are wearing white, or maybe they have white in their name, right? Mr. White or Mrs. White, I don't know, something like that, Blanche, right? So you have to keep this in mind. It kind of like looks to me that maybe you had that, let's call it disconnect, where it's like physically you were not in the same room, but you have been communicating all these messages, and there was like something else that has developed in your head as a part of things, right? And I really think what developed was that you're feeling, oh my goodness, you know, that can work. The lady is showing up in the house of the heart. So clearly, like, there is like somebody who just has an eyes for you, kind of a thing, right? So it could be, I don't know, like, I mean, at some point you want to make it work with someone, and I can see it here going back, and you might even have a child with this person, right? Maybe you got pregnant, and now this could be shotgun wedding. I really have to tell you, I see that as well. It's kind of like, hey, remember me? Yeah, we're on a cruise together. Guess what? You know, can I speak to your mom and dad? We are getting married, kind of a thing, right? But the lilies is really talking about serenity. It's kind of like both partners are feeling really, really cool about it. This is like a peace, and this is maturity. It's kind of like, think about a scene where there's like first snow and everything is white and snowflakes are falling, and then the sun comes through it, and you know it's like freezing cold outside, but you just want to be outside. By the way, this is exactly how Toronto looks like for the last 2 days. We have this Arctic cold, like that usually comes in January. Now, also we have lilies and the sun with some interruption over here. So it is success. It might be a little bit slow to come, and I think it's needed to say that, because you kind of like want what you want, when you want it, how you want it, but you will really need to step on the brakes, because there are like some issues that need to be handled. I don't know like what kind of secrecy this truly is. There's like something underlying here as well. Something needs to be communicated. Maybe you don't know each other well yet. I mean, book is really intriguing card, which really talks about possibly kind of like long-term needs, possibly about long-term hopes, so that you are really rolling in the same direction, that you're not feeling that you're lost from one thing off another. For some of you, you maybe have been dealing with a partner who had multiple partners, and maybe that's going to be it. It's going to be, yeah, I know, I love you, and this can indicate going to the next stage of a relationship, but, you know, I just cannot stand you being with the other people, and I'm not going to continue with this, because maybe this is it. Maybe this is simply signifying the talk. It's saying, okay, from now on, it is you of us, two of us against the world, and we are together, and we are fighting together, right? Now, the snake. Why in the world is a snake there? Because it's also connecting to the stars, and maybe this is all it is. There is a communication about another person that, especially if you're a lady, is going to be on your mind, or this also can talk a little bit of insecurity, but you still feel safe that, hey, this person is released, and or whatever. This could be just the haunting image of a person when people tell you how badly they were treated in a previous relationship. That clearly tells you, hey, they haven't actually recovered. They really need to move forward, right? And you would rather kind of like say, let's kind of like push things together and move that in that direction, right? It simply means that there is like this motion forward. There is like this feeling like, yes, we have the same dreams. That there is like this essence of, I guess, loyalty. I guess feeling strongly this is important. So maybe the last tidbits of what needs to be communicated will be communicated this year. Maybe that's basically why we had this delay. Something that is going forward will need to be paused for a little bit, and then it will resume and go forward. If you guys are single, I mean, I really would look for a partner who doesn't have a baggage. Oh, it's almost impossible, right? Who is working on his baggage, right? Sort of a thing. Because for the ladies, Aries, it's more or less looking backwards and looking what needs to be fixed, what doesn't need to be fixed. While for the guys, it's like, ooh, I want to move forward. I kind of like really feel this is going places, kind of a thing. Honestly, guys are going to be so pushy. You're going to meet somebody and you will want to eat them up and down, left and right. It's just going to be all you think about it, all that you want, and it's kind of like good for you. What can I tell you, right? So, my dear Aries, don't forget to pre-order your Taroscopes, annual Taroscopes. They're like still not done, and that's why the price is basically 50% off. And yeah, if you want any other reading from me, like cattarot.ca. And don't forget to also put yourself on the newsletter, so that way, you know, you understand why I'm doing this and why I get such sudden bursts where I almost like feel like, hey, okay, Spirit, I'll do it. So all the best, my dear Aries. I am going to talk to you one more time this year, but if you need to contact me privately, like all of the information is down in the description box. Love you guys, wish you all the best, and I hope this all makes sense.